FC Barca lost the Spanish Supercopa last week, and in that game Lionel Messi picked up his first red card for punching another player in the head. Barca explains Messi's actions by saying that he was fouled repeatedly in the game and just reacted. Well, that's bullshit. And if Barca actually thinks that explanation holds water and is actually the case, they're a more screwed up organization than they've already proven themselves to be. What has happened with Lionel Messi over the last number of years is that he's developed an extreme aversion reaction. And an aversion reaction is when negative things happen to you in subsequent matches, or a massive negative hits you in a very important event. The pain of that is so extreme that you don't want to feel that potential of that pain in a like match in the future. So if you're in a World Cup, you fail, and you go to another World Cup and you've had that big hit, you're naturally inclined to have a reaction where you pull in, get smaller, and try and protect yourself so you don't feel the pain again. And Messi has gone through a series of negative events that have set up a wickedly strong aversion reaction to particular events. So it started in 2014, where his Argentina team lost in the World Cup final in the minute 113. So he had that. They were in really good shape to win it, and he lost it. Okay, boom. He goes to the Copa of South America the next year against Chile, goes to penalties, Argentina loses. Ouch, that hurt bad. A year after that, another Supercopa final, again, Chile. In this case, Lionel's already got the aversion reaction, smaller scale, but he's got it. And in penalties, with an open net, Lionel misses. They lose that. And he suffers. It's big time pain. I go forward, he's playing against Roma in Champions League. They've got a first leg, massive lead in the first leg. They lose in the second leg, big collapse. Next year, Liverpool, they got a big lead. First leg, second leg, big collapse. Lionel's head is pretty much completely a mess at this point for performance in big finals. So we come to the Supercopa last week. Barca's up 2-1, everything's good. I want to see what happens. I'm hoping for a tie, go to penalties. So it goes 2-2. Then, in extra time, Iñaki Williams pins a perfect ball into the net. It's 3-2 for Bilbao. At this point, Messi has what I call a get me out of here reaction. He can't take it anymore. The pain is so great, he's looking for an exit. Zinedine Zidane nails Materazzi with a headbutt. He gets a red card in the World Cup final. Can't explain it? Yeah, you can. Messi does the same thing in the Supercopa final against Bilbao. He took a red card to get out of there. Messi's head's on the edge. He's at the point where if somebody doesn't work with him to work through his aversion reaction, he's done for performing in big events, in World Cups, in Champions League finals, any type of final. He's done like dinner. You can predict his head's going to blow. The other factor here is that when Messi disappears, Barca implodes, collapses inside, and the performance is bad. How do I know this? Well, I've been going through this since 2005 with various athletes in different teams. We had a team went to the last Olympics, 2018. Both the driver and two-man bobsleigh and the brakeman had wicked aversion reactions. In training prior to the 2018 two-man Winter Olympics, this team was dominating all the training. The Germans are saying to the brakeman, he'd be the first, oldest man to win an Olympic medal. And yeah, that would have been the case, except that you get into the actual event, the aversion reaction causes a collapse, a tightening, and a performance collapse. And the results are inevitable. I knew going in that they would collapse in the final. There was nothing I could do to get those guys to work through their aversion reaction. Now with Messi, he's mentioned that he's having psychological problems. He did that on an interview with Jordi Evela on Spanish television about a month ago. And he was, posing the suggestion that he might be getting psychological help. Well, he needs to work through an aversion reaction. And if he doesn't, his career is essentially, as a high performer, it's over. I mean, he's done. He cannot perform at high level in championship games. Can he work through it? Yeah, in theory at least. It's the most difficult thing that an athlete can do. And over the last 15, 20 years, I've worked with 6 world champions, Olympic champions who've been hit with aversion reactions or have cracked, and you've seen a couple cases of get me out of here reactions. This is a standard business, but it's not in the narrative, an overall sporting narrative or a high performance narrative. It's summed into a bullshit notion that the athlete choked or some other baffle gap. This is repeatable, it's observable, and it's brutal to deal with if you're in a coaching situation. Barcelona's got one of the greatest athletes of all time. Massive impact on club revenue, massive impact on performance, and he's also one of those cherished athletes who is just in the narrative. He's part of the fabric of our greater community. And he's a masterpiece. Now they're mishandling it. They haven't worked with Lionel on this, and they probably can't. They're going to ignore it. They're going to put their head in the sands and let him go. But it's a tragedy. This can be worked on. It's the toughest thing Lionel would ever do in his life. But he's got 5-6 good years left in him if he wants to play, if he wants to get to a championship. But he can't be asking for other players, because other players aren't the issue. It's Lionel that's the issue. He can come out of this, he can play great, but boy, is he going to suffer like a dog to get to the place where he can get back into a finals and play free of all this fear.